My name is Simon Mitambo. I work with African Biodiversity Network. It's based in Kenya. African Biodiversity Network is a regional network which works across Africa in 12 African countries. So we work with the people and organizations that work around biodiversity. So mainly our work on seed is very much about around reviving the traditional seed diversity, because we know that when farmers have diversity of seed, they can survive better in terms of the food risk and things like that, and even diseases. So our farmers work across reviving the traditional seed. They look at the seed which used to be there many years ago, and they get this information from the elders who tell them about the seed that were there, with the knowledge that they existed, and then they try to build what we call seed maps, which traces the contour of where they can easily find some of those seeds. So when they draw those maps, they can see this was millet belt, this was a sorghum belt, and they sort of find those seeds in those areas, and then they bring back. So they bring back as many as possible. But also the other characteristics with this is that they bring back the seed and the knowledge. The knowledge and the practice is very much about how was that seed used? What are the nutritional values? Was it good for children, for lactating mothers, and things like that? So they also tell the story about the seed, how it was used, even the ceremonies that the seed used to go with. So they bring back all this knowledge, the practice around the seed, and the diversity of the seed. And they have relationships. You find that the relationship between the seed, with them, with the land, and also their territory, and their governance. So we bring a sort of a whole web of life around that particular seed. And that is why we say when you lose one seed, you lose knowledge and the practice and everything related to it, even the ceremonies. So you find that farmers cannot do certain ceremonies without a certain seed. So they have to revive certain seed. And along with that also, the communities also emerge what we call community researching groups. And those are the groups that now work with elders to know which seed were there and they are not there. They also do the list of the seed that they have revived and also document about their characteristics and things like that. We also work around community seed banks also, which depending on different contexts, because we are working at the regional level where you find, for example, in Ethiopia, seed banks are very well pronounced. But you find also, like in Kenya, for example, seed banks are very much within the household storage system. So depending on this, each context, we also support farmers to revive the seed banks and the diversity of their seed. And that is basically how we work around the seed. We also build the capacity of the farmers through exchange learning. So where farmer to farmer can learn, can experience, and we are also in the process of also setting the learning centers, which are the real life situation learning centers. They are not like the center we construct. You go to a community and the community is a learning center. We are talking about how they live, how they eat, you experience their food, and that becomes the kind of learning center that we are also emerging. We have a number of communities that are becoming learning centers for others. So as a network, our role is also to bring farmers from different countries to learn from farmers in other countries. We are also working with youth, also in schools and out of schools, who also now support the farmers to draw the maps I was talking about. Sometimes you find that it's not easy for the farmers to draw the maps, but they have knowledge, which when they talk about the story of their seed, the children in school can draw and can show where this kind of seed existed, and That way they can trace where to find the seed. So in a nutshell, that's the kind of seed we do. And like I said, seed is very central and is very sacred, and is in the center of all the community work. So that when community is going to do any particular activity, then they have to do a ceremony or a ritual that will involve bringing seed together and that kind of thing. So seed is in the center of the community governance, how they do their things. It's in the center of their food, what kind of food they eat. It's in the center of their relationships, because you find that depending on different relationships, they are either because people are related in a way, there are levels of sharing scenes and things like that. So seed is something very special for our network. Yeah, I said that because of this idea of reviving, we work to revive the lost seed. So through that, you find that within each community, there are some people who are very passionate. We don't like saying that we create research groups because we are not going to pay, but you find there are people who are very passionate to want to bring back, to want to check, to go to the market, to find that seed that the elders say used to be there and it's not there. Sometimes they use the contour or the belt to understand where they can trace that seed, and then they bring back. So this kind of research is like trying to find how can we get this. Also to ask the elders about the knowledge and the practice around that seed. So what is this seed called? What is it about? How was it used? You know, and they bring all this knowledge together. So that becomes like a community researching group. You know, when you bring people together, yes. I forgot to say that we do community dialogue. When you bring people together, you can tell people who connect very well with a certain something. People will obviously come out. You see this person has a lot of interest in this kind of thing, and those are the people now who team up and then they become part of the community researching groups. You don't tell someone, you be this and this. Someone will come and say, oh, this work is very tiresome, I'm not being paid. You check who has interest and has passion to find the seed and to come and share, of course.